But the basic issue is one has to be extremely careful with these sit-tight leaders. Because obviously the coup is not only the idea of military taking over government. A coup is actually where people extend their limit beyond what constitutionally is being provided for. That one is also a coup. When you rig yourself into an election, it's also a coup. So basically the problem with these leaders is I am right, everybody else is wrong. Because one has to look seriously into the kind of thing that this guy is here. And my fears are that we shouldn't allow these people to take us into another proxy war. Proxy war in the sense is that in Niger, the Wagner, the missionary groups of Russia are already there. And these people who are from the East is because Niger, Mali, and others are saying they are tired with the domination of French in the running affairs of their own country, so they want to be really independent. They have been telling us that you are more independent than us because our own independence is only a name. Our currency is being printed somewhere, and then the central bank of another country is the one that takes care of our own money. You go back, you take loan from your own money, and you pay interest. There are so many things that are going on wrong. And I can't see people like Ouattara have the moral right to start telling people that this issue is not Nigeria and Niger. As far back as the 18th century when the Sultanate was established, there has been a very good cordial relationship between the two countries. And a number of Nigerian leaders happens to belong to the two countries. Nigeria recognized in dual citizenship. There are a number of Nigerian leaders that are partly here and partly there. So I can't see anybody who is telling us that if there is going to be a war, even if we are not around neighbors, with Niger, one will say it is not a war between us. It is actually a war between us because there are a number of Nigerians that are going to be affected as a result of that war. So I can see a contradiction in the release itself because I believe the leadership, who happens to be our own leader, seems to be focusing more on diplomacy based on the missionaries that he has sent around. The former president was there together with the Sultan of Sokoto. Nobody seemed to know what has actually happened. And you see, you cannot really negotiate with the threat. The first thing that's made it very difficult for people to start thinking about this negotiation was the fact that you took a decision, cut off light, close the borders and what have you. You have a negotiation, you cannot negotiate with somebody on the basis of a threat. You should first negotiate. It is only when the negotiation fails that you think about what happened again. So I believe basically there is a lot of contradiction in the release itself. Two, I'm sure we should not allow this country to go into a proxy war between the West and Russia, because at the end of the day, if you look at what is happening in Ukraine, if you look at what is happening in Sudan, and in quite a lot of places you see around Libya that has virtually finished, you can see basically is this idea of pushing people to do certain biddings. And they use some of these sit-tight leaders to sell their own ideas around. And if you look at the background of Ouattara and what you see, virtually you find out that even when he was talking, you cannot exactly, he was not trying to report to people that this is what has happened. It was the decision or the ideas of a Nigerian government that has been sold to the Economic Community of West Africa.